In tears, he signs the divorce papers at the Christmas party. Her entire family laughed, unaware he is the... The pen felt heavier than it should have. Music drifted through the room. Bells, laughter, a chorus of practiced joy. Someone clinked a glass. Someone else shouted my name like it was a joke they were proud of. "Sign it," she whispered, smiling for the room. Her family circled us, red sweaters and bright teeth. Christmas lights blinked in a rhythm that felt accusatory. Green, red, green, red, like a pulse I was supposed to share. I looked down at the papers on the table. Divorce. The word was buried in paragraphs, dressed up in legal politeness. My name was already typed. Hers too. The place for my signature waited like a trap that pretended to be a formality. "Do it," her sister laughed. "It's tradition now." The room laughed with her. I felt something warm on my cheek. A tear, I realized. An inconvenient reflex. I wiped it away quickly, hoping no one noticed. They were too busy watching the spectacle, watching me. My wife squeezed my arm, a gesture meant to look supportive. It wasn't. It was control. I lowered the pen. My phone vibrated in my pocket. Once. I didn't check it. I didn't need to, because the message had already been read earlier, burned into me. A timestamp, a hotel name, a receipt forwarded from a number I didn't recognize. Until I did. I signed. Applause broke out. They thought this was my breaking point. They didn't know I'd already broken weeks ago. Tonight wasn't the end. It was timing. They thought the divorce was a mercy, that I was the one being spared. My wife had rehearsed the narrative carefully, how we'd grown apart, how I was too quiet, how love sometimes changes shape. She delivered it with the calm confidence of someone who knew her audience would never question her. They never questioned her. Why would they? She was radiant tonight, perfect hair, perfect smile, the woman who brought wine and laughter and stability, the woman whose husband sat silently beside her, eyes lowered, apparently defeated. I let them believe it. The truth was smaller, meaner, more precise. 3 months earlier she'd started coming home later, not late enough to be suspicious, just late enough to feel intentional. Her phone habits changed, her laugh shifted, private, guarded. I noticed everything. I just didn't react. When I finally looked, really looked, the evidence was already there. Calendar overlaps, calls at hours that didn't belong to me, a hotel reservation under her work email, forwarded accidentally to the shared account she forgot we still used. Infidelity isn't dramatic when you find it this way. It's administrative. I felt the shock quietly, let it settle, let it cool, because anger is loud, and loud ruins strategy. She never confessed, not then, not later. She didn't have to. Her confidence told me everything, the way she spoke about the future without including me, the way she touched me like an obligation she planned to cancel. By the time she suggested divorce, framed as kindness, I had already confirmed the rest. A colleague, married, children, a double life hidden behind conference badges and seasonal bonuses. I said nothing. I agreed to everything. I let her plan the timing. Christmas, she said, would be clean, final, a celebration of moving on. She underestimated what silence means when it's chosen. I prepared quietly. Externally, I was cooperative, reasonable, the man everyone expected me to be. I nodded at suggestions. I signed preliminary paperwork. I showed up when told. Internally, I cataloged. Patterns first. Patterns never lie. Her meetings, his absences, the hotel bookings that repeated with a rhythm that suggested comfort, not novelty. I cross-checked dates with her work trips. Every match felt less like pain and more like confirmation. I contacted a lawyer before she did, not for divorce, for documentation. I requested financial statements, archived receipts, nothing invasive, nothing illegal, just patience and access. I reached out to his wife anonymously, provided only what she needed to verify. No commentary, no accusations. Truth doesn't need decoration. She responded days later with a single sentence. "Thank you. I'm documenting everything." Good. At home I became even quieter, polite, accommodating. I stopped initiating affection, stopped asking questions. She didn't notice. That hurt more than the affair. People sense loss when it matters. She didn't sense mine. As Christmas approached, her family buzzed with anticipation. Dinners, gifts, stories about how brave she was being. They practiced sympathy for her future like it was a performance. I listened. I memorized. I let the image form. Me, the weak husband. Me, the obstacle finally removed. I didn't correct them, because the reveal wasn't for them. Dark, folder on my lap, listening to her breathe beside me. Calm, unbothered. I felt nothing. That was how I knew I was ready. The Christmas party was loud, bright, public, perfect. I signed the papers early in the evening, just as she wanted. Let the applause wash over me. Let the laughter land. Then I excused myself. Bathroom, a drink. No one questioned it. I returned with the green folder. I placed it on the table gently between the desserts and the wrapping paper. "What's that?" her mother asked, smiling. "Receipts," I said. The word cut through the room. My wife stiffened, just a fraction. Enough. I opened the folder. Hotel confirmations, time-stamped messages, a photo taken in a lobby mirror, him behind her, arm familiar, intimate. Not incriminating by itself, but combined, devastating. The room went quiet in stages, laughter fading, smiles collapsing. Someone gasped. My wife stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. "This isn't," she began. I held up a hand, not aggressively, decisively. "I've already spoken to his wife," I said calmly. "She has everything too." My wife's face emptied. Not anger, fear. Her mother looked between us, confused. Her sister's mouth hung open. I didn't look at them. I looked at her. "I signed because you wanted control," I said softly, "not closure." She couldn't meet my eyes. That told me enough. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I let the truth do the work. I explained, briefly, clinically, how long I'd known, how carefully I'd waited, how the timing wasn't accidental. "This party," I said, "was your stage." I gestured around the room, the stunned faces, the decorations now feeling absurd. I just changed the script. Her family stared at her like strangers. Their laughter from earlier felt obscene now. Someone muttered my name. Someone else whispered hers, disbelieving. She tried to speak. I didn't let her. "I'm leaving tonight," I said. "The papers stand. The narrative doesn't." I turned to her parents. "I'm sorry for the spectacle," I added, "but honesty works best in public." I picked up my coat. My wife reached for me, desperate now, unmasked. "Please," she whispered. I stepped back. The distance felt earned. As I walked toward the door, the room stayed silent. No applause this time, no jokes, just consequences settling into place. Outside, the cold air cleared my head. I breathed deeply for the first time in months. Behind me, I heard crying. It wasn't mine. I don't think about her often. When I do, it isn't with anger. It's with precision, like reviewing a case file you've already closed. The divorce finalized quickly. No arguments, no drama. Her leverage evaporated once the truth went public. She tried to reach me afterward. Messages, apologies, revisions of history. I didn't reply. Closure doesn't come from dialogue. It comes from understanding. She thought humiliation would weaken me, that signing those papers in front of her family would finish me. She was wrong. It clarified me. I learned that love doesn't die loudly, it's replaced quietly. That silence isn't absence, it's restraint. And that timing, when chosen carefully, is power. The last image I have of her is from that night, standing in the middle of her family's living room, decorations glowing around her, face pale with recognition. Not of loss, of exposure. I signed the papers in tears because tears are human. I walked away without them because control is learned. And when the door closed behind me, it wasn't an ending, it was authorship. Reclaimed.